actively, just like what you were saying with the incident, it's one of those things where this stuff is actively happening. And just like I said earlier, it ain't, when you go into some of these communities, some people hate us. They don't hate me, Tyrone. They hate what I stand for. So therefore, as soon as I speak, it's already, fuck 12, get the fuck out of here. Man, get the hell on, even if I'm there to help. You got me? So like I said when we first started, everybody can't handle that. Every officer, every person, if we put each one of us in different situations, each one of us can handle it different. Each one of us parent different. Each one of us do everything different. So it's the same thing.
But at the same time, there's still a lack of training.
Oh, trust,
There's
yes.
a lack of training. I
Yes.
think on the general population and on our civil service duties, people, I think there's a lack of training. And I think that what we need to start having in the communities is what we're having now.
Right.
The dialogue.
That's why we're here.
The dialogue, because my black boys, when they come into the classroom or when they come to my center, they've already, I deal with high-risk students. So they already been jacked up and thrown in.
What does high risk mean for the for everybody?
I deal with students with behavior problems. So they've already been in YDC or juvenile, and they've already been locked up several times. They might have a track record longer than your birth certificate. I mean, and it happens by the age of 15.
And guess who has to combat that same problem that you're speaking about?
Right, but I think too, I know too, the dialogue still has to happen.
Right.
When I get to work on an average day, I have 5, 6, 7 probation officers waiting on me. And they already aggressive and ready to jack my boys. I'm like, hold on, you gotta come in here like that. Because what you experience with him is not what Ms. Brownley's experience with him.
That's your baby.
That's right. They all my babies. So when he comes to me, I say, Ms. Brown, my PO here. And the first question I'm asking, did you smoke weed? Did you go to the drug? What you do wrong? Nothing, he just don't check, did you smoke weed? Answer that question for me. But then they get all aggressive with him, and then they want us to call count. I'm not doing that. You came in here wrong.
Let me just say that, Mike, I know you had your hand up. If you think about, to me, I always equate the training, when you're talking about more training, because people say that a lot. When we raise our kids, we raise them up and hope that when they get out there, they are gonna be good citizens, have good morals, so forth and so on. But when they leave the nest, it's like, okay, I hope you've been listening to me all this time, but we're not with them. So let's flip it around with the young officers, or just officers in general. When they get out of the academy, we've taught them everything. I was over in the academy as a senior instructor for years. We can teach them the right way all day long. But now I give them a badge and a gun, and they go out on the street, and a lot of times they got to think quickly or think for themselves, and most of them do what they're supposed to do and revert to back to their training, and then some they just don't. I mean, I'm gonna keep it real with you. They don't do it. It's not our fault because we've given it to them, just like we give it to our kids. You know, kids have great parents, but then they just went out and went the other way. Same thing with a lot of officers. But I think this right here, like you said, it will definitely. We're trying to do it. And you know, we're trying to open it up. So, Mike.
I have a slightly different take. I'm from this neighborhood. I'm originally born in Perry Homes. Been knowing Michael Carter, Sergeant Carter, Mike, from our Collier Park days. Been knowing Investigator Lowe for 20-some years. I raised Lowe, that's what I say. His first job, he know. So that's my son, my youngest. We go by the one-time rule. I say it one time, that's it. So when it comes to authority, shouldn't be all that bullshit talking about, no, hell no, not this, not that. Because I've never seen, and I've been dealing with law enforcement, I was in correction before this year, a police officer change his mind and say, you know what, I'm not gonna arrest you. So the honest doesn't start on the street when you get to the police. The honest starts at home. If I'm instilling in him what's been supposed to be in him, then what Mike said is gonna come out of him. Because only what's in you gonna come out. So if I ain't put it in him, then when he get out on the street, what's gonna come out? What's in it? You can't hide that. Now, my biggest problem is when there is a bad seed. We can call it. You stayed next door, or your folks stayed next door to a bad seed. Named Napoleon Cannon. He was a bad seed. He was broken.
Yeah.
Some of y'all in here know him. Bo know him. Mike know him. He was a bad seed from birth. He was broken. The only person that could help him was God, Jesus. So if that's the case, and we know he a bad seed, I just want to see police officers, when there's a bad seed amongst the blue, that he gets put out. And it doesn't have to wait till something happens tragic before you can say, this is a bad seed. And that's not on you guys.
Right.
That's on upper management. And that's the part I want them to expose and to be accountable and to be transparent. And if you're accountable and transparent, then the public can see that, hey, we're all on the same side.
And I think that's one of the biggest problems that policing throughout the nation is. With all the officer-involved shootings and everything, you remember it used to take forever to release the video.
Right.
And now they kind of release it faster because they want, in some instances, they want to be transparent. But in some instances, like we started off talking about when we first got here, in some instances as an officer, I don't know what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what he's doing. And it's right. When it breaking news and they say an officer wasn't arrested, I'm just as shocked myself because this the same person that I blood, sweat, and tears with. I didn't know he was dirty. And
Right.
then a lot of times when people, as an officer, they know that you ain't with that, they not gonna be that way around you anyway.
Right.
You got me? But like I posed that question earlier, in our communities, we, just like you said, Mr. Cannon, we know who bad. We know who's shooting, we know which house selling dope, we know
Right.
all that. And for some people, guess what we say? Excuse me, brother, got this work. Excuse me, that ain't my business. Stop snitching and all that of the above, which I understand because guess what? After you get in this discovery package, now they putting them on Instagram, right? You gotta come back and live across the street and walk up and down the street. So for me as an investigator, I want to protect that person. I don't want them to have to go through that, so I kind of get it. But that leaves people out there to continue to victimize other people. And then once it finally happens to your family member, that's when we see the somebody do something, somebody step up and do something. If we
Right.
did this a long time ago, we could have stopped this years ago.
Right.
So the investigation part, right?
Go ahead.
Y'all investigation part. Why it takes so damn long? And the reason I'm asking this question is because it's taking so long to just do the right thing. In fact, I don't understand why it takes so long.
In reference to what though?
The investigation of what just happened. Crime, whatever.
You talking about that incident or any crime?
No, any.
Because
But what I'm saying is, what it seems like is, to me, it seems like it's covering up. Y'all officers just huddling up, saying, okay, we gotta see how we gonna get out this situation. What we can do. That's what I'm looking at.
But I think the officers, when you say that, police have the same right, like you guys have, due process. So we want to make sure that your family, you and your family, want to make sure that there's a proper investigation into whatever you have been alleged to have done. Same thing with the officer. It may not be quick. It doesn't mean, to me, it doesn't mean that there's a cover-up. You got to talk to everybody that's involved, that was such and such, because they don't want to be part of that package.